Well, this is a very special day in the life of Bilston, and it's obviously very special today because we're celebrating the Diamond Jubilee of Her Majesty the Queen. And it's very appropriate today that we should have as our very special guest the Queen's representative. We can't get closer to the Queen in the West Midlands than my Lord Lieutenant. And it's with great pleasure that we welcome him to Bilston today. And I should say, as Eileen said a minute ago, it's not the first time or the second that Paul has visited Bilston since he's been our Lord Lieutenant. He's come on several occasions, and of course he comes to Wolverhampton on many special events. But today he's chosen Bilston, and I think that's significant that he's chosen out of a very, very large diary to come and visit sleepy old Bilston, because I think he probably knows when he chose Bilston that Bilston has been around for a few years. He knows that we were mentioned not in the Domesday Book, although we were in the Domesday Book, but we were mentioned in the Anglo-Saxon Charter of 994. Now that gives you a little inkling of how long we've been here in Bilston. And some of us feel that we've been around all that time. But the fact of the matter is that Bilston has played a very important part as a tiny town in both the national and international role that it's performed throughout the world. We were mentioned, as I say, in the Anglo-Saxon Charter. We spent a few centuries in this area that was heavily wooded and forested, and then we came to the beginnings of the Industrial Revolution, and Bilston played a magnificent, majestic part in that Industrial Revolution, really from the beginning of iron making, with Ironmat Wilkinson, the leader of making of iron in this part of the world, and all of our exports, iron products went to every part of the world. And it was from there that Bilston began to take the first waves of guests to Bilston that settled in Bilston from Wales, from Ireland, from Scotland. They came from all around the UK to become part of that great Industrial Revolution. And then, of course, we had the enamel making, Bilston enamel, famous throughout the world. And then, of course, we moved to what is the pre-industrial period, when we started making not items of iron, but items of steel, meticulous engineering skills, the car industry. Just up the road here, we make the chassis for Rolls-Royce, the premier car of England, and all kinds of engineering products that were made here in Bilston. This is how Bilston made its way in the world and put itself on the map of the world. And in that time we saw the second wave of people coming from the new and the old Commonwealth, and they're here today. And Paul, you'll be pleased to know that Bilston has been the epitome of the development of company cohesion, community cohesion, living together as people one to another in a community where we cherish our children and we want to give them the best opportunities that we can get. So that's what you've come to Bilston today, I know, to recognise that Bilston, for all that it's a little town, it's played a majestic part in the life of our country. And of course today we're celebrating 60 years of the reign of Queen Elizabeth on the throne of England, and we're here to celebrate a Diamond Jubilee. And we've also got two couples here that are also celebrating their Diamond Jubilee. And Mr. and Mrs. Patel and Mr. and Mrs. Smith are here especially as guests because of their longevity together, and they are celebrating together with the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh that Diamond Jubilee. So we do appreciate them being here today, but most importantly to have our Lord Lieutenant here, and he's now going to speak to us. But I do want to say to you, Paul, thank you for coming to Bilston. We much appreciate the fact that you've given us the identity, and we hope that you enjoy what we're going to see with our children from our schools and from our Orpheus Male Voice Choir. We've got a lot of talent in Bilston, and so we're going to ask you now to perform the opening ceremony. Thank you,